So we all know the Sinclair C5 was the biggest flop of the 80s. I bet you don't know what the biggest flop of the 70s is. BSA Motorcycles in the 50s and the 60s was the biggest motorcycle manufacturer in the world. They produced some absolutely awesome bikes until they made this, the BSA ARIEL 3. In 1970, they invested £2 million into this. In today's money, that's nearly 30 million quid. What were the management thinking? Most of the investment was in tooling so they could produce 2,000 of these a week. But in the few years they were for sale, they only sold a couple of hundred. And most say this is the downfall of BSA. The nickname it was given, the Granny Killer, didn't help matters. Let me show you why. So it's a tricycle. We got a 50cc engine, 2-stroke, that only drives one wheel in the back, and there's no suspension. But it's all party in the front, and this is where the nickname Granny Killer comes from. The front moves and the back stays still, but you can get it. See if I can go over. All the way down to there. You could probably have knee sliders on this, and then eventually it just tips up. So yeah, a Granny Killer. It was advertised as a bike you could use to go to work in your suit, but I don't think a suit will stop you. I mean, these do 30 miles an hour apparently, but this one won't, because the engine is absolutely seized solid. So I think let's get it on the ramp. Let's do the minimal possible to get it riding, and let's test drive it and see how bad this really was. I think maybe an obstacle course down the local field to test the agility is in order. Let's go. Tell you what, fits on the ramp, perfect. As if it was made for this little gem. Right, the back end. So looks like in here is probably where a spare wheel would go, which we haven't got. And then you'd whack your shopping or your 1970s leopard print briefcase on the top of there and go to work. That looks to me like a fuel cap, but it's on the wrong side, so that's no good. And then coming around the back, all this is like proper smashed in, and it's made this plastic wheel arch. It's wedging against the tyre, that is, so that's no good. Right, are we ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's a bit stuck. And then there's a little bonnet rod just in there. And with that open, I can see nothing. It looks like a big engine in there, to be fair, but it's very enclosed in this rear end. I wonder how that comes off. There's a 13mm there. There's one this side. I think I'm just going to rip all this off, and then we can just get to our engine, because it's seized. We've got to take the head off, maybe the engine out, you know, worst case. So it's proper bent as well. So let's try and straighten all this out while we're doing it. Let's crack on. So today's slave labourer is Max. He's here for an hour, so let's get him working hard. I bought him this toolbox last year. It's full of tools. It's the first time he's using it. They ain't gonna be that shiny for long. As you can see from his face, he's loving working on this awesome 70s machine. And what better music to go with it? Bit of old school funk. Well done to Max for stripping the back end off. So he's just pulled out this like yellow plate, and it's actually a fan cover. You can see in there there's a fan. I suppose this engine, it's like enclosed in there and it's air cooled, so it needs air going past it. And he said, Dad, I think the engine actually moves, and when you wiggle it, it does. So what I can see is under here, can you see that blade there of the fan? It's hitting that pulley. And that's why our, wheels ain't turning, because the engine's just solid against that. All the other blades are kind of out, they're not straight. I mean, I suppose it's a fan, it's not supposed to be, but let's see if we can get my finger in there. There's another fan just behind it as well. That's bent. Oh, finger click. Yeah. There we go. No, we're still catching some wet, that one. Oh, there we go. And now it's running the other way and rubbing the body. But that turns. I think I'll spend 20 minutes straightening out a bit better than that, because if it vibrates, we don't want it wearing out the engine, but awesome. I think that'll be good. The carb there, let's give the throttle a squeeze. Yeah, it does work, but it's absolutely covered in gank. So I think I'll whip that off, stick it in the vise and hit it with some brake cleaner. Now this black crud in there, it's gone like tarmac, but a bit of scraping, bit of elbow grease, and it's looking mint. Then with the back end, to stop it rubbing that tyre, I think we're going to get it on the bench and start taking it apart. I'm just going to use a pair of grips to get it nearly back to shape, and then just beat it to where it needs to be. And then once the new rivets are in, it's looking much better. All that's left is to loosely put the fuel tank on, and then it's ready to start. Well, hopefully ready to start. There might be a lot of pedalling involved. I've chopped it up on blocks, so the back tyre is off the floor. Yeah. So, and the fuel tap's leaking. Wow, it's all right to start it. So cut to 15 minutes of pedalling now, probably. Let's go.
One eternity later.
Oh. I don't believe that. It started. I didn't have the proper fuel here. I've only got me stuff for my strimmer, so I put a tiny amount in, which is, yeah, still absolutely hammering out the fuel stop. Awesome. We've got a massive problem with a wheel that is probably the most buckled wheel I've ever seen in my life. I reckon the damage is here on the back, innit? And that wheel's knackered. It's been hit that hard, and that's what's bent that fan in and you know, stop the engine turning. So I'll see if I can find one of those on eBay, find a fuel stop cock, can't say that on YouTube, and let's put this back together. Let's get down that field. Let's go. Awesome. But the first quick trip around the garden didn't go that well. Bit of choke. Max had to keep the choke on full, otherwise it wouldn't rev and it just wouldn't tick over at all. So I got the carb back off, put it in the vise and took out the main jet and found it was absolutely covered in crud and oil and gunk. So cleaned that off and then we went further afield for a private road and gave it a rip and it was like this. Loads of fuel coming out. It was weird. It ran fine for about 30 seconds and then it would just cough and splutter and almost like it was flooding. So I got it back again, got the carb in the vise and took the float out and found that the point that should stop the fuel coming in was facing the wrong way. It was facing downwards. So then we put the carb back on and went for another run and it went a lot better. So higher up the revs, it's running really well, but again, it just wouldn't tick over. I think there's too much air going in there. When I bought the bike, it had no air filter with it. Obviously an air filter is going to restrict the airflow, so all I'm going to do is make one out of metal, weld a top on it, and then fix it in with a spring. And then finally, it proper rips. So me and my lad have been ripping this up and down this private road for the last hour and a half, and now it's tuned properly. Hasn't missed a beat. It's proper awesome. The bloke I bought it off said it hadn't been on the road since about 1976. So it's mint, you know. I'll show you starting it up. It's so easy. You have to twist the throttle away from you and then that does decompression on the engine so it's easier to turn. And as you push it forward, you just pull back on the throttle. Ready? And then to turn it off, you just put the throttle forwards. It's so fun. I'll tell you what. Let's get the helmet on. And let's get going again. No cars, we're all good. This is ace. Whoever called it a granny killer just shouldn't be allowed to ride bikes, because I mean, if I can do it and I'm old and my 13-year-old son can do it, it's easy. You shouldn't fall off this thing. It's like having a push bike with an engine. We got a cattle grid. Hopefully we won't stall halfway through. The suspension, even though it's got none on the back, as I say, feels just like a push bike with an engine. Engine wise, goes really well. Brakes, very good. It's just a real fun little bike. The handling, you can just do this all day as long as you don't go nuts at it. This is ace. This is really good fun. I'll tell you what, let's pull up over here. I got my phone in my pocket. Turn it off. I got my phone in my pocket. Let's see if we can do a top speed, because somebody said they do 30. Reset. Right. See what our top speed is. Let's go. That's about as fast as it'll go. 25 miles an hour. Awesome. That's about all you need, isn't it, round town? I think we might be running out of fuel, you know. I mean, we've been out here for, yeah, an hour and a half. And I am loving it. Oh, cattle grid again. As I say, it's like if you can ride a push bike, you can ride this. It's so good. The only problem is, let me pull over, turn it off. I did want to, my son's got a motocross bike and I did want to put some posts around the field and do obstacles and stuff like that, but that's before, you know, when I first bought it, I bought it as a POS, a piece of, and now it's quite good. I like it. So it'd be a shame to wreck this bike, but luckily enough, I didn't just buy one, I've bought two. Now this bike I'm sat on has got a chassis number, it's got number plates and it's got a logbook, but the second bike has got no engine, it's got no nothing, so it can never go on the road. So it's the ideal bike to start hacking about at. Now my son, I want to race him on his motocross bike. I don't want to just beat him, I want to annihilate him and thump him into the ground and win, not by a couple of seconds, by, you know, a mile. So how can we make one of these better as a motocross bike? Give us your thoughts in the comments. You know, it needs to be two-wheel drive, obviously, engine, knobbly tyres. I'm getting attacked by flies here, but yeah, let me know. That's it for this video. As always, no adverts, so I hope that deserves a like. It's free to subscribe, do so if you can, and I'll see you on the next one. Ta-da.